Hello and welcome! Today we are in the new Tier 9 Italian cruiser, the Brindisi. We're on the map Hotspot, and unfortunately it is a 7 versus 7, because matchmaking decided not to give us... Okay, somebody waited for 5 minutes. The Brindisi is a ship that's very similar to the Venezia in many ways, and I like the Venezia. I think it is an Italian cruiser that is really fun to play. However, something felt off to me when I played the Brindisi, and I have figured it out. You see, Brindisi has a fatal flaw, which is her incredibly large citadel. I guess technically Venezia Citadel is similarly sized, but it actually has armor that covers it. Venezia has spaced armor, and it has an armor plate at the front that actually covers the citadel. Brindisi doesn't. And unfortunately her soft 150mm citadel is, well, something that gets easily penetrated by quite many AP shells, and that can lead to pretty bad outcomes. I started out by going for the decap immediately because it's a 7 versus 7. There are only 2 destroyers per team, meaning that every destroyer is very important. And if you look at the minimap, I think our Fletcher is making a huge mistake because she is basically challenging a Z46 alone. Z46 obviously has Hydro, so yeah, our Fletcher is going to get sunk, probably. Here though, I decide to start pushing out because I will be hydroed by this Friesland and there's nothing I can do about it, and eventually somebody will, slowly take pot shots at me, and that'll just end up going very poorly for me. So I'll take the risk of going out, even though it does leave my citadel exposed, but if I can take out this Friesland, I should be able to at least smoke afterwards, and yeah, SAP versus destroyers is pretty good. 7k damage from that was entirely expected. This wasn't like, wow, I did so much damage. No. At this kind of range, dealing like 15k in a single SAP salvo is not too out of the ordinary. Anyway, I got out. Yeah, I lost half my HP. By the way, I'm actually playing a stock Brindisi because somebody asked about the AA comparisons between the stock and the non-stock versions of her, and I forgot to change it back once I had checked out the numbers, so yeah. Not the greatest ideas, but I mean, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. It's less than 5k HP and some maneuverability. Basically everything else is the same between the stock and non-stock hull of the Brindisi. Anyway, even though I didn't get the cap zone, I think our Soyuz might be able to. I'm gonna start heading towards the A cap though, because unfortunately, like I said, our Fletcher did go down, but I do have some... I imagine that I'm not going to be sunk by the Z46, because the Italian cruisers have very good maneuverability, and they're very fast, meaning that it's quite difficult to torpedo them as a destroyer. And I also noticed that our battleships were on this side basically alone, so they probably do need some support. And if I can take the A-cap with it, that would be great. Although there is of course a chance that the Z46 might stop me, but I mean, she doesn't have much backup, only this Lion, meaning that it should be fine. I mean, worst comes to worst, I can just use my Hydro or smoke to disengage. Something is targeting me. I think it is the Lion, but she is firing HE. Still though, I can't take the risk, and I do need to angle at least slightly, so that if she does fire at me I can keep... No, actually she didn't aim at me. It was somebody else. It was the Soyuz, I think. Huh. Well, regardless, she did not have much success with it, and she is actually sailing away, as I am. As am I, meaning that we're gonna put so much distance between us that soon I can just turn the other way back to head into the A-cap. The Lion is reversing, meaning that she is becoming less and less of a threat to me. However, I obviously can't deal much damage to her either. Now, you might have seen that 8k initial salvo with SAP. That does happen quite a bit when you hit ships that are full HP, but I mean, the same thing happens if you fire HE at a ship that's full HP. The first salvos deal more damage than the subsequent ones. Although, I suppose even subsequent ones, 8k is not too far out of the ordinary. Then again, the ship does have a very long reload, and it does require you to hit quite a few shells to deal that kind of damage. As RPF tells us, the destroyer has moved. She is more towards the B cap. But I think it doesn't really matter to our Iowa, because she's gonna go down regardless to the fire, or HE or AP shells from one of the ships. That could easily hit her. I mean, she is showing broadside to most of the enemy team after all. There are the torpedoes from the DD again, but they don't seem to be able to find any success. Yep, there they go. Oh, the Z-46 is actually up. Okay, I'll definitely take a shot, because taking care of destroyers is very, very important. Iowa went down. Unfortunately, I only managed to deal 1700 damage to the Z-46. I think I only hit 1 or 2 shells on her. Oh, somebody hit her hard there. I did another 1700. And I think this is another 1700 or 2k something. Regardless, I'm gonna be able to take the A-cap though. Sure, our team actually didn't get the D-cap eventually, you know, after all, but if I can't take the A-cap, we should at least start ticking towards... At least we'll stop losing as hard, okay? I'm just gonna try to do it safely, because the DD can absolutely spot me, and she is right now, but I don't... Unless the destroyer decides to engage me in a gunfight, there isn't all that much she can do about it. And we got the capstone. Now the question is, should I stay around? Which is what I'm gonna decide to do. I'm gonna engage the Musashi, but I'm not gonna go too far from the capstone, because you never know what the enemy destroyer will do. Maybe she will actually head towards the A-cap. Although, considering where RPF is pointing, I'm pretty sure that's the Lion instead of the destroyer, so... The DD is probably quite far away. Still though, it's something to consider, you know. Maybe the destroyer tries to fool me and tries to take the cap secretly behind me. In that case, we wouldn't be in a good spot again. Besides, I want to stay around the A-cap anyway, because there's this convenient portion of the island that I can use to shell that Musashi. One thing I really like about the Italians is that the shells are really fast and their arcs are really nice. It's quite easy to hit the target. I mean, I just fired 6 shells at the Musashi and I hit 5 of them from 16 kilometers. That is very nice. Okay, I missed absolutely everything this time. I take it back. This is horrible. The guns are so inaccurate. It's the gun's fault, okay? It's not my fault. My aim is always perfect. Anyway, as you can see, even though I've actually got quite a fair few hits, I've only done 58k damage. I think that's quite normal for the Italian cruisers. Dealing lots of damage is kind of difficult. But, on the other hand, damage you deal usually matters quite a bit. Because it'll often be into ships like destroyers and cruisers. Sure, you deal some to battleships too, but that's... Maybe it is the bulk of the damage, but it doesn't get inflated by, like, fires, which would just all get healed entirely anyway. Launched some torpedoes, because you never know. The torpedo range is 13 kilometers, so might be worth it. I'm gonna start accelerating. I try using AP, because SAP only has 54 millimeters of penetration, so when you hit the upper belt of certain ships that have decent-ish armor, SAP doesn't actually pen, whereas AP does. But it does seem like AP in this situation is not dealing that much damage. 1700? From what is this? 5, 6, 7, 8? No, that was 7 shell hits. 1700 damage? Yeah, I'm not happy with it. SAP, I think, is probably the better choice after all. Yeah. 8 shell hits, 5k damage? Much better. I guess I should finish off the Musashi, huh? And I'm not talking about kill stealing, I mean actually finishing off as... Oh, never mind. The buffalo did it for me. Lion is pushed out. Something is actually targeting me. Hit the torpedo also on the lion. Oh, it is the lion with the rear turrets. Wasn't paying attention to that. Anyway, I can just use the chunk of the island right here to hide behind, and that'll keep me invisible. We do have a points lead, and we do have a caps lead. Even though they're contesting the decap, we have 2 other entire caps that are actually taking points for us. The important objective right now is to take care of the lion. Oh, 8k damage. That was very nice. The important point is to take care of the lion here. And then I guess I should actually head towards the B cap. That is the enemy's red cap, because none of their ships seem to be positioned in a way to be able to defend against it. And if they do indeed take the D cap and then perhaps try to take the C cap, that would be quite nice for us. And there goes the lion, so let's just go towards the A cap now, or sorry, B cap. RPF is very important at this point, and considering where she's pointing, yeah, she just jumped, or RPF just jumped, so there's something ahead of me. It's probably the enemy Brindisi, and there she is. We actually have a very similar amount of HP. Wonder which one. Oh wow, our Musashi has 11 HP. That's not good. Wow. Okay, well done, Musashi. The 11 HP Musashi just one shot. Well, I guess took half the HP off of the Brindisi. Easy game, I guess, right? Nice devastating strike too from that. And this should pretty much win us the game now, because sure, our Musashi might only have 11 HP, but the enemy Soyuz only has 13k left, and they only have the Destroyer and the Soyuz now. And I have a nice 25k HP still. And 2 heals. Although, I did mention that the Citadel on the ship is enormous, so there is a chance that the Soyuz could just devastating strike me. But I think that's not very likely to happen. Our Udaloi is doing something dangerous, torpedoing the Soyuz and pretty much dancing with the Z-46. But I think even with SAP I should be able to finish her. Never mind. AP? Oh! The Udaloi did get sunk by the Z-46, but I luckily managed to take a shot. I guess I'll go for the big cap now. And, well, the shot I did take managed to actually just finish off the destroyer. A very nice game, though, I would say. Better than most I had in the Brindisi. Okay, better than all of them I had in the Brindisi. Over 100k damage, 2200 base XP, but man, that Musashi basically... That one salvo was huge, because if it wasn't for that Musashi salvo, I could have been fighting that Brindisi for quite a while, and that could have given the Soyuz the opportunity to do a lot more this game. Anyway, overall, I'm not very satisfied with the Brindisi. She feels very much like the Venezia, just worse slightly, you know, like you would expect from a tier 9 ship. The problem is with the Citadel on the ship. You can take a look at the stats and they're fine. None of this is a problem. The gun characteristics are very similar to the Venezia. The speed and maneuverability is basically the same. The torpedoes are the same. The HP is very similar. But if you take a look at the armor layout, you'll see a huge glaring issue in that you can see the Citadel right here, right? This is ginormous. This is absolutely gigantic. And it's not like she has any spaced armor or anything either. Oh, and check this out. There's an armor plate, 50mm, right, at the waterline, but it only protects half of the Citadel at the front. Why? This is so terrible. Like, seriously, this is really bad. Because this Citadel is absolutely enormous. I mean, let's compare to, say, the Minotaur, right? Because look at how high this sits. Take the Minotaur. I mean, look. Minotaur sits basically almost as high in the water, or basically as high in the water, but that's the middle section. The other portions of the Citadel sit much lower in the water. And Minotaur Citadel is not exactly an example you want to follow, right? Seriously, this sits so high in the water, it's crazy. I mean, let's compare to Des Moines, that also doesn't have a good citadel. Look, this sits much lower in the water as well. Brindisi's citadel is just so incredibly open that she gets punished very easily by battleships. And I don't really know what you can do to mitigate that. Like, the only thing you can do is just never show broadside to an enemy battleship, but obviously that's impossible. At some point you're going to be able, you're going to show some broadside. Let's take a look at the Venezia, for example, where a lot of these issues are mitigated. So, first of all, she has spaced armor. As you can see, there's an armor plate outside and there's one in the middle. This is 40mm, that's 165, right? This spaced armor makes a difference. Next up, as you can see, this is the Citadel Height, right? But here we have a 40mm plate that goes to the very bow of the ship, which covers the Citadel, which means the battleship isn't going to overmatch the bow of the Venezia to Citadel her, unlike with the Brindisi. And honestly, this in my opinion makes the Brindisi just not good. The armor just isn't good enough to at least play the way I would like to play the ship. And I do actually really like the Venezia. I find her to be a lot of fun to play. Brindisi, however, does not fit the same bill, in my opinion. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Kablamo, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.